Wayne Harris and the Melbourne Cup winner getting the verdict, ahead of Mahogany and Storm with Baryshnikov fourth. Earlier champion 3-year-old Al Mazkay and Strategic renewed their rivalry in the Ascot Vale Stakes. Four straight for the Kiwi with Gold Ace and Strategic left in his wake. At Rose Hill, Classy Fella won the gloaming with Flying Spur a disappointing fifth, and it was another tight one in the Theo Marks quality. Ivory's Irish getting up in the last bound to beat Flight to Fantasy and Dane Wynn.
The Soldiers Point Caravan Park has been a holiday spot for low-income earners for the last quarter of a century, but all that is about to change. Port Stephens Council wants to upgrade the park, replacing the holiday vans with cabin accommodation that would be rented out for between $85 and $110 a night.
Certainly people from my class of life are not going to be paying $100 a night or whatever for staying in this place.
Caravan occupants were issued with eviction notices. Most have gone, but 16 tenants and 4 van owners are fighting council. Meeting to discuss their options today, the group agreed to vacate the premises by the end of January next year. However, they want an independent arbitrator to determine whether they're entitled to compensation.
And let the arbitrator decide who really is at rights here.
The Residential Tenancy Tribunal has offered to oversee negotiations between caravan occupants and the council. Jane Anderson, NBN News.
The ultralight came crashing to the ground for no apparent reason. At around 11:15 this morning, witnesses say the craft appeared to literally fall out of the sky. The 44-year-old pilot was approaching Glen Innes Airport from the east when the ultralight crashed into the paddock around 1 kilometre short of the runway. Rescue crews were quickly on the scene, but it's believed the pilot was killed instantly. Scientific Police and the Civil Aviation Authority will launch a full investigation to determine the cause. The pilot's name has not yet been released. Amanda Bolger, NBN News.
State electoral staff were today recounting votes in the Newcastle Council electorate. Labor's Greg Hees, the Citizens Group's Morgan Jones and the Greens' John Sutton have most of the primary votes to become Lord Mayor, but a decision will have to be made on preferences.
Other than the two major candidates, every other candidate's votes are likely to be distributed on preference basis.
The Labor Party is confident its candidate Greg Hees will be the next Lord Mayor of Newcastle. Confirmation is expected later this evening or tomorrow.
It's only early days at this stage, but we're hopefully getting the Mayor and possibly 5 candidates up in the wards and then with a chance for a 6th.
The Greens improved their standing with John Sutton, Margaret Henry and Liz Rennie expected to be elected councillors. The Citizens Group also performed well, but counting is still underway. In Lake Macquarie Council, it was a convincing win for independent John Kilpatrick, who was returned as mayor with about 45% of primary votes. It's expected 9 of the current councillors will be returned, with 2 positions likely to be filled by Labor's Milton Orkopoulos and independent Chris Coburn.
Wallsend was out to thwart the Bears' grand final treble. and had the first real scoring opportunity just 5 minutes into the match. Oberhauser's prowess was matched at the other end by Troy Bellamy, foiling this touch from Neville Smith. But he wasn't as fortunate in the 37th minute when he failed to clear a Western corner, Anthony Richards putting his side one up. The Bears continued the pressure in the second term and 10 minutes in were rewarded, with Mark Began giving his side a firm grip on the title. Began then secured the match for Western in the 76th minute. Western completing the hat-trick of titles, their first in the top grade since 1990.
With high unemployment and crime to contend with, residents of Cessnock say the shortage of police is adding to the city's problems. In the early hours of yesterday morning, a riot involving 100 people erupted in the main street. The only 2 officers on duty at Cessnock forced to call for backup to help control the situation.
We all think that it's very critical at this stage because of the situation of the crime in the township, and everybody's concerned.
A delegation from the Neighbourhood Watch Group and the local member today pleaded their case with Police Minister Paul Whelan. Although 45 officers are assigned to Cessnock, 5 are off on long-term sick leave, leaving only 14 general duty officers to cover the area.
The numbers are not down dramatically, but the numbers are down enough to warrant some concern by me and some concern by the local community.
With 650 extra police to be made available across the state over the next 4 years, Mr Whelan said staffing problems at Cessnock would be addressed.
Cessnock is going to have its answers solved in the short term by finding the surplus police in New South Wales and putting some of them here into Cessnock. In the long term, the government's commitment to increase police numbers are going to mean more police here in Cessnock.
While in the Hunter, Mr Whelan also visited Singleton for talks on establishing a 24-hour police station there. Melinda Smith, NBN News. With most primary votes tallied, the attention today was on preferences, the results making or breaking the campaigns of some candidates. By late this afternoon, voting had wound up for Newcastle's Lord Mayor, with Greg Hees claiming a solid victory.
I'm over the line, I've got 50% plus one, and I didn't need all the Greens' preferences, so I did it quite comfortably.
At this stage, there are still 5 undecided positions. In a surprise result, 6 independents will sit on Cessnock's council under new independent Mayor Merv Pine.
Policies were that we have a more open and accessible council and consult with the people, and apparently that's what the people want. They voted for us.
Voted in for a second term with an increased majority, Lake Macquarie's independent Mayor John Kilpatrick is likely to join at least 6 other independents on the council.
From what I have seen of the council or the likely composition of it, there's some good positive people there that I think will work well.
In Maitland, 7 independents will join 5 ALP councillors. Port Stephens has 5 new councillors and will have a new mayor next week. The sitting mayor, Craig Bowman, was defeated on Saturday. The council meeting tomorrow week to elect a new civic leader. Gosford and Wyong won't know until later tonight or tomorrow the final makeup of their councils due to the high number of candidates. 65 contenders for the 10 seats in Wyong alone. In the Upper Hunter, Warren Cook has become the first official Labor Party candidate on Scone Council, which has 3 new faces. In Muswellbrook, 4 new councillors have been voted in, while figures are still to be finalised in Singleton.
It was this head clash with Cronulla's Les Davidson that left Glanville requiring 2 plates and 6 screws in his jaw. Lying in a hospital bed 2 weeks ago, his season appeared to be over. But tomorrow he will be seeking a medical clearance to play against Manly this Sunday.
You know, with the injury toll we've got at the moment, it's sort of making it look pretty difficult, and if I can play or make myself available, at least it'll give us some option there of, you know, a little bit more depth.
That injury toll is likely to keep the Knights from any ball work till Wednesday. This afternoon, the club opted for a pool session, with a handful undergoing 2 sessions of physio today. Most concerns surrounded Paul Harrigan, Tony Butterfield and Jamie Ainscoe, but they are expected to play. But like the wounded Glanville, all will need something to get them onto the paddock.
You know, if I do play, I may have to get a needle in it just to deaden it, that area, so I don't get another whack on it.
Mate, you'd be in good company if you had a needle, though.
Yeah, I'd certainly have to take a number, I think. Get in early. There's a few of the boys lining up there for the doc.
The $1 billion Australian Navy minehunter contract is the largest ever in New South Wales and the 4th biggest for Australia. 6 ships are being built, 1 in Italy, the remaining 5 at ADI's Newcastle base. Today, Defence Minister Senator Robert Ray officially opened the Newcastle construction facility and set off proceedings for the laying of the keel of the first Australian-built vessel. And while this project will run for another 7 years, ADI is already planning beyond that, looking to export the mine hunters in Southeast Asia.
Some countries, in particular Thailand and Malaysia, may be potential customers here, but again, their requirements are some time off, but it's not too early to start looking for customers.
While Newcastle has missed out on defence contracts in the past, Senator Ray said the city is now a leading contender for any job.
It's got a workforce that's cooperative. The industrial relations record here is marvellous compared with some other regional centres that we deal with. And their ability to adapt to technology and change is just remarkable.
ADI is bidding on a $30 million contract to refurbish American landing ship tanks for the Australian Navy. Newcastle's Forjax is also chasing the job. Peter Ryan, NBN News.
Organised by the Hunter Institute of Technology, the expo, which continues tomorrow, is promoting not only job opportunities, but also courses at colleges and universities. Organisations like the police service are out there looking for more recruits from the Koori community.
Well, certainly they are a target community for us, as well as non-English speaking backgrounds and women.
But despite the introduction of quotas and employment incentives, many Kooris are still finding it hard to break through the glass ceiling and into high-paying jobs.
Because we find most of our Kooris are in the bottom area or bottom layers of management, so there is still that glass ceiling. The other thing is that most organisations now have a 2% employment strategy for Aboriginal people, and we're nowhere near that.
But that's not enough to daunt the Koori students from Cardiff High.
Tertiary education into physiotherapy. Just hope go through the year 11 and 12 and go to uni.
If I really work hard and I'd get my head down and start doing things, I will. Probably get the job, I don't know.
Glanville is keen to return this Sunday, only weeks after having 2 plates and 6 screws inserted in his face to mend a depressed fracture of the cheekbone. Today he received medical clearance and was rushed into the squad.
He's very desperate to finish the season off on a good note, and he's the kind of calibre of player who you would want to take into a final of this nature.
Glanville's inclusion was the only change to the squad from last Saturday's win over Cronulla. Although many are carrying injuries, coach really expects the side name to start the match. Most concern now surrounding Paul Harrigan.
He's got a badly bruised ankle that he assures me he'll be running by Thursday.
Meantime, the ARL Premiership Committee met in Newcastle this morning. On the agenda, the return of the President's Cup to accompany top-grade matches, the abolition of the salary cap to be replaced by a graded point system, and the chance of a compromise between themselves and Super League.
The league opinion is that it's no closer to compromise. In fact, it's further apart.
Mr Dyer had a large audience to address at the opening of the expo at the Newcastle Workers Club today. His message made clear to all present with the aid of signing. One message Mr Dyer has been at pains to get across is that no one will miss out under the new department for the aged and disabled.
There will be autonomy in the new department as between the ageing sector and the disability sector. Both interest groups will be looked after very well indeed.
Separate policy areas for aged services and the disabled have been guaranteed by the Minister, and he says it's not an excuse to slash funding.
Major benefit will be to concentrate attention on the needs of ageing people and also people with disabilities, and to better deliver the services for those groups in society.
Who's first place? Can't get them all together. 16, 17 and 18. Okay, double three. Is that right?
Jerry. Wait, you want to get a shot of the
The Minister took time out today to visit Broadmeadow High, with its emphasis on performing arts. Mr Aquilina inspecting the results of the school concert band's hard work and its results in the wider school community the Minister is looking for, already this week reinstating traditional grammar into the curricula.
Made it very plain right from the very beginning that fads in public education will not be tolerated under my administration.
The Minister says back to basic schooling is now the policy.
That we bring into our schools curriculum which is based on knowledge, which is based on the development of skills, and which is based on enabling students to have an understanding of how to use that knowledge and how to use those skills.
The players took a well-earned rest today, taking it easy at the track. Adam Muir must still have his head in the clouds after the game of his life against Cronulla, but the big forward says he is ready for the Sea Eagles.
Well, that was a great win. We come from behind from 12 points twice was absolutely sensational. But we've just got to get back on, get our minds on the job and get ready for Manly on Sunday.
The Knights pack is firing on all cylinders, and Muir says they can match the more fancied Manly forwards, with special attention to Steve Menzies running off the ruck.
Our pack of forwards is a great pack of forwards, and we're going to take them on head on.
But the Knights will have to play without their greatest fan, their mascot Rocky. He's been barred from taking part in this Sunday's game after an incident with some Cronulla fans last weekend.
I think it's a great boost to the club to have the horse there, and it's just very, very disappointing for me and all the fans.
The National Soccer Federation required 45 of 60 votes to amend its constitution and allow for the shedding of 3 teams, including the Parramatta Eagles. The motion was carried by just 1 vote, bringing some relief at the Breakers camp.
I guess it is in a way, in that all of the crap is over and done with, and now we can really get down to the business of playing soccer.
And with the Breakers campaign starting on October 6, many of the players will assemble for the first time next Tuesday night. But for 3 Warringah Dolphins, the bulk of the squad will be local, but with no signatures yet. Negotiations are continuing with Northern New South Wales clubs.
We've got a budget that we allocated for transfer fees, and we're well within it at the moment, so our bean counter Pat Clark is quite happy about that.
And that budget includes the likely captain in David Lowe, who at 32 still has plenty to offer.
Yeah, I only feel 47 as well, so yeah, hopefully, you change your ways a little bit. I've looked after myself reasonably well, I think. Some people might dispute that, but no, I don't see any problems with age at all.
Meantime, Adamstown will take on rejected NSL club Parramatta in the second round of the Waratah Cup this weekend.
There's not much most parents wouldn't do to entertain a child's passion, even if only a passing one. As part of Education Week, the 37 students at Millers Forest Public near Raymond Terrace were asked for a short presentation on their favourite pastimes. Parents were welcome to chip in.
I don't know the black one. What are the black ones, Mum? Austral.
I'm going to take myself. That one there, that's just focus. So this is automatic focus.
Kremen's last outing in the Middle East was in the Rally of Lebanon, an all-tar road event, but his Peugeot suffered a steering failure and didn't finish. The Middle East teams seem to have no shortage of money. The entire field is made up of far more exotic machinery than the average Australian event. Most are driven by local drivers. The Lebanon event won by a Lancia four-wheel drive. The next event in the series is in Kuwait on September the 25th. Ron Kremen is hoping for a better result to consolidate his now slender lead in the championship.
They claim he's got better with age. At 34, Cliff Lyons has taunted many opponents this season and is still touted as one of the best ball players in the business. His opponent is 10 years his junior, but he too has all the attributes and is no stranger to a crisis. Johns is aware that if the Knights can shut the wily veteran down, they'll go a long way towards winning the game.
He's a pretty strong guy as well as being fairly deceptive. I suppose if we get numbers across in defence, it gives me the opportunity to move up on him fairly quickly, and that's what I'll have to do.
His coach Malcolm really has played down his duel with mate Bob Fulton and the long-running on-field feud between front rowers Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan.
I don't think Paul will react to that. I should hope he won't anyway.
That pair are certain kangaroo tourists for the World Cup, with the Johns brothers Jamie Ainscough, Robbie O'Davis and Adam Muir out to press their claims as Newcastle strives for its first grand final.
The issue erupted late last week when a 16-year-old student was questioned about her living arrangements by the principal of the All Saints College St Mary's campus. When it was discovered that she was flatting with her boyfriend, the school gave her an ultimatum. If alternative accommodation wasn't found, she would not be welcome back at the school next year. Declining to comment on camera, both the school and the director of the Catholic Education Department issued statements. Catholic schools serve the Catholic community and they are obliged to uphold the values and the ideals espoused by that community. If, after counselling, the student insists on adopting a lifestyle that is contrary to the value system, their enrolment can be concluded. The school has described the issue as a sensitive matter, one it hopes to resolve one way or the other within the next few weeks. Today, the student at the centre of the controversy held further talks with the school's management. While angry and upset over the publicity about her private life, she intends to stay at the school and settle the matter. Melinda Smith, NBN News.
The Newcastle Knights know that at the very least they have 382 fans that will never let them down, the students of Cardiff South Public. Today the youngsters welcomed a special guest, Knights star Robbie O'Davis, wishing him and his teammates all the best.
With the support of this town and the players we've got, I think, if we get in that grand final, there's no stopping us and we'll win it for sure.
It was a moving tribute from the students. The players wearing the red and blue jumpers are their heroes, just simply the best. Across the region there was not quite the same excitement, but solid support nonetheless. Council workers got into the right spirit. Go Knights, go! Knights clerical staff have been busy all day taking faxes and calls wishing the team good luck. Newcastle's other sporting high flyers also gave the Knights the thumbs up.
Hi, I'm Butch Chase from across the Newcastle Falcons, and we'd like to wish the Knights the best of luck.
If the Knights can harness this support for the finals, who knows what could happen if they live to play again next week. They call it the Duck Hole 1000. RAF Williamtown's personnel, including the high-flying FA-18 pilots, turning back the years and hitting the billy cart track. With the afterburners firing, the carts flew down the track at all times under the eye of special radar.
What are you clocking them at? About 62 kilometres.
It was all for a good cause, money raised going to childcare facilities on the base.
And 30-second beds only.
Bill Bowmore's gallery, situated on 8 hectares of landscape grounds at Somersby, has been a lifelong dream. 800 pieces, including antiquities, Japanese ceramics, Rodin sculptures and modern paintings, are on show. Collectively, they're worth millions of dollars.
Works of art are works of beauty, and if you need beauty, there is a price.
There are also rare museum items, a handbag and personal letters from Florence Nightingale, sherry glasses owned and used by Napoleon.
He's a rare collector in Australia. I mean, Australia is not known for its art collectors of non-Australian art. They are very rare. And Bill is one of those people who's sort of opened up the doors a bit, opened up the vision.
Today, Gosford Council gave the final go-ahead for the venture to officially open for public tours. It's a valuable asset that has proudly taken its place among the country's finest galleries.
You see, I've had collections, I've never really seen them exposed, and this is the first time I've had the opportunity to open them up and see what they look like on walls and see what people think, and this is the purpose.